When the war started, I was really disturbed in my heart, and I couldn't watch television. I couldn't watch what's happening in the news, and I really needed to come and help.
I understood that that's what I want to do. I want to create a place for them to have a feeling of home. Together we can help them to build their life. Because all of that, what we do now, it's about people and not about buildings.
Hello and welcome to Ukraine in Flames, a special project by Ukraine Media Center and NGO Euro-Atlantic Course. I'm your host, Varvara Shmygalyova. In today's episode, we will introduce you to the creators and participants of the project Nadiya, which is translated from Ukrainian as hope. This is a grassroots initiative that proposed a comprehensive solution to accommodate and rehabilitate internally displaced people coming to the Zakarpattia region of Ukraine. If you want to find out more about this subject, please continue watching this video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the videos in the future. Andriy Doroshuk, founder and director of the charity foundation project Nadiya Ukraine, will talk about how the idea of the project appeared and what the project does to help IDPs start new life in Western Ukraine.
Hello, my name is Andriy Doroshuk and I'm from Uzhhorod. I lived there all my life, and after 2014, a lot of people from Lugansk and Donetsk region, they moved to Zakarpattia and they found it really good for living, and they decided to stay there. And what I saw when I met them, that they lost the place that they called home. They ended up without a place where to stay, and they wanted to rebuild their lives. And from that time on, I have a lot of people in my circle of communication that I can call friends, and I wanted to help them. I wanted to help them to create a place where what they can call home. And I was planning to build houses, and I thought that maybe through this programs of loans, they could buy this for themselves. And then when the 24th of February 2022 came, all that plans were just destroyed, as most of the Ukrainian cities. And I understood that we need to do it differently now. As I saw that our city of Uzhhorod was flooded with thousands of people that were that fled from this aggression from Russia. And I understood that they need a place to stay, but even not only that. When I was in the line of cars that was like long, like more than 5 kilometers of cars through our city, when we were distributing coffee and tea, and we were distributing some sandwiches, and I was giving legal consultations to the people and advising where to go and what to do and how to what country it would be better to stay. I understood that they need something more. Some of the people, they didn't want to leave. They wanted to stay in Ukraine. They wanted to rebuild Ukraine, but they needed a place to stay for this time on. After almost a week of traveling from their cities to Uzhhorod, when we had a crisis with fuel, when there were traffic jams all over on the way to Uzhhorod, to the borders, they needed a place to rest, and me and my son, we decided to receive people for the short term, like for 2 or 3 days, for them to have good sleep, to have shower, to eat some food. And for that time on, during 6 months, we received almost more than 1,500 people, because they were changing. We were able to receive 20 people a day. And so it was interesting to see how their eyes were changed. They were even able to smile, or like they were even able to talk about the crisis that they were in. So I understood that that's what I want to do. I want to create a place for them to have a feeling of home. And then I've met with Nadiya Tkachenko, who had the same idea and wanted to do the same for the people of Ukraine. And right now we have ongoing our first pilot project in Zakarpattia, in the village of Dobrinichi, near Uzhhorod. And we want to create there a social center where people can live, and also they can receive a social adaptation, be the part of the social adaptation program where the psychologists and psychotherapists, social workers, lawyers, spiritual advisors can help them to come out of the shell where they are now. That they would be able to see something more than only a gym or a class where they stay now, in the schools or the kindergartens or in Zakarpattia. We want them to see some more opportunities. We want for them to see the opportunities to start the life over. We want them to see the possible variants, how they can change their status from participants and beneficiaries of the social aid, of the humanitarian aid, to the ones who can start a new life by starting new business, for example, or they can be hired by a local company, or they can just enter the IT market, for example. And right now we are not only building this pilot project, or that building for 100 people, for first 100 people, but also we are building bridges between us and this IDPs, the people who are displaced now, between the local community, between our partners that would be able to work with those people. And we want to build much more bridges, because this is not my project. This is not a project that I want to call that I did it, but we can do it together. And I want to invite more partners into our community, and together we can help the people who are in need. Together we can help them to build their life, because all of that, what we do now, it's about people and not about buildings.
Nadiya Tkachenko, founder and director of the charity organization Project Nadiya USA, provided us with her backstory, perspective, and the vision of the future of the project.
The founder of Project Nadiya, it's an international nonprofit organization that is providing hope, homes, and stability for Ukrainian people who are displaced by the war. We're all aware that there are millions of people that have been uprooted, 14 million people or so, and they had to leave their homes, their loved ones, and flee the conflict areas into safety. Half of them, as we know, have left the country. Half of them are seeking shelter in safer areas of Ukraine. And so when the war started, I was really disturbed in my heart, and I couldn't watch television. I couldn't watch what's happening in the news, and I really needed to come and help. And I live in the United States, thousands of miles away. I have roots from Ukraine, but I was born in Kazakhstan and now living in the United States. I just couldn't sit and watch, and I had to come and help and be with my people here in Ukraine. And when I was helping refugees who were coming from Ukraine into Poland, the two questions that people asked me on the border, one was, can you please help me a place to live? And I would help them find very temporary accommodation for 3 to 4 weeks. I would book them hotels, but it felt like a short-term, a Band-Aid solution. It was very much needed, but what I knew is that 3 or 4 weeks afterwards, people were back in the streets seeking support. The second question that people would ask me was, where can I find a job? Which was amazing to me. People would just come across the border and they were already looking for ways to become self-reliant. And so those two questions, where can I find a place to live and where can I find a job, planted a seed for Project Nadiya, which provides people longer-term solutions people who are displaced as a result of the war with longer-term accommodations, dignified accommodations, and also social adaptation support, economic integration support, so that they can become more self-reliant, so that they can have a way forward, so that they can regain the strength, resiliency, stability, independence that is needed for them to rebuild their lives. To provide this support to people who are displaced by the war, in order to build accommodations for them, funding is needed. You know, housing is a very capital-intensive project. A place that will house about 100 people per year is estimated to cost $450,000, $500,000, which sounds like a lot, but it's actually a drop in the bucket if we're talking about helping this many people. So to start our project, we raised funding through private donors in the United States. And we're very, very grateful for people who really cared about Ukraine, who, even though they didn't know people that they were helping, their hearts opened up, and then they were really willing and eager to support our project. So I'm really grateful for their trust, grateful for their investment in this project. At the same time, 8 months into the war, we're very aware that many donors are starting to feel tired. They have already donated to different causes in Ukraine. They've heard about Ukraine for so many months. There is such a thing as war fatigue or donor fatigue. It's very real. So we continue to encourage people who are supporting Ukraine, supporting Ukrainian people from far away, to not forget about the needs. The needs are growing. The humanitarian crisis is continuing to grow. Despite the fact that we may be hearing some positive news from the front lines about counteroffensive operations, the humanitarian crisis surrounding people who've lost everything continues to grow as time goes on. Also, colder months of winter are coming, so many shelters around Ukraine are not going to be very comfortable. They're not going to be habitable for people that are living there now. So time is of the essence. The crisis is growing. We really are looking for additional support from private donors. At the same time, we're looking for partnerships from existing organizations who are interested in stepping into our project, which is already a real project. It's ongoing. If there's partners who are interested in coming in and participating, either financially or in kind or by providing services, we would be really interested in having a conversation with you and creating those bridges between the needs of people of Ukraine and the services and possibilities that our partners can potentially offer.
And to finalize, we'd like to show you the feedback and opinion from 2 regular Ukrainian citizens who, due to the Russian aggression, lost their homes and became internally displaced people. Please hear from Volodymyr Demydovych, project manager from Slavyansk, Ukraine, and Konstantyn Mikutski, contractor, was forced to leave his native Gorlivka in 2013 and relocate to Mariupol, and this year lost his home again. Now they're both working with the project Nadiya to rebuild their own lives and help others.
Що б ви хотіли сказати людям, які допомагають зараз Україні, які фінансово або іншим чином?
I would like to tell these people, love each other, appreciate peace and the fact that you now with each other. The most valuable thing in life is probably your family. I would also like to express my gratitude to you for your sympathy and help, for sharing our pain and sorrow. Thank you very much for your support in deeds, not in words. You come here, transfer some money and buy some food. This is a huge help because the problem is very big and the whole world is now trying to help us. Words cannot express our gratitude and appreciation. But I will take this opportunity to thank you so much for everything you do. It would be hard for us without you, that's for sure. We feel incredibly grateful for your open hearts and good deeds. And with these deeds, you definitely preserve the culture of Ukraine, help our nation hold on. It's good when there are people who are ready to lend us a helping hand in such difficult moments. But we will rise, and with your help, we want to further develop our country. Thank you.
Як ви бачите, що проект «Надія» може в цьому якесь займати місце? Як цей проект «Надія» допомагає цьому майбутньому?
As for the future of our country, I am 100% sure that everything will be great. The Nadiya Hope Project is the hope we give to people who are now in such a difficult situation, who lost everything. You know, when you give a man a loaf of bread and he starts crying, and he tells his sad and sometimes tragic story. And when you give him a shelter, he can just leave. And it was done for him by people he does not even know. It helps these people to continue living. They start doing something themselves, because they cannot understand how people who live somewhere abroad, far away, give them something for free and help them. It encourages them to do something too. Therefore, this is definitely a very strong, cool, good project. It helps those displaced people, kids, women, who are going to live here. It's great. Words fail me. I think when we finish the construction, you will see the people who will live here, and you will see their eyes. It's impossible. Even if you don't know a person's story, the eyes tell you everything. A flash of joy, boundless gratitude for what you have done for them. That's enough. It motivates me to do what I do. For this reason, I keep going to places where these people are. They need our attention and help. So everything will be fine. You guys are great. Thank you for that.
Як ти бачиш Україну і майбутнє України? І як проект «Надія» допомагає цьому майбутньому України здійснитися?
I see my country in the future reconstructed, new, young, with new talents, new industry, new production, good education, strong, trained, well-sufficient people. That's how I see the country, the Nadiya project. We don't build homes, we don't build roofs or windows here. We are supporting people's fates. They don't need help, they are self-sufficient people, and we don't need to finance them. They lived on their own before, and they didn't need any interference. But when the war broke out and they had to flee, now that we are making this building, we support people's fates, because they are on thin ice which can break. It's hard for them both mentally and physically. Their families are broken. Now this building helps us support the integrity of families. We help people so that their fate does not end, so that they continue to live and be part of this country.
You've been watching the special project by Ukraine Media Center and Euro-Atlantic course dedicated to the Russian-Ukrainian war, Ukraine in Flames. In the description under this video, you can find information on how you can help Ukraine fight Russian aggression. If you find our work useful, please like and share this video. Glory to Ukraine!